we're back for another episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 10. I think it's episode 7 or 6 is one or the other. But we ain't got no time for no introduction, so let's just get on into the episode. So we're gonna start it off with Sheree and Portia. Now it's pretty clear that Sheree's the only bitch that's willing to do a one-on-one with Portia. So let's just get into what the fuck they was talking about. So they're talking about the fact that Kenya and Cynthia's relationship and how it's unfair to Cynthia that she does not know anything about Kenya's husband and the wedding and why she wasn't invited. Now, they do have a fucking point, okay? They do have a point. If Kenya's best friend is Cynthia, why didn't Cynthia know anything about the wedding and why wasn't she there? That is a valid point. But the way that these women are constantly harping on this situation, you would think that that was their wedding, you would think that they were Kenya's best friend. Why the fuck do y'all care so damn much? Y'all do have a point. You do have a point, though. Like, as annoying as it may sound, they do have a point. Why didn't Cynthia know out of all these girls? If Cynthia didn't know, Candy should have known. Out of all these girls, how come Cynthia didn't know? You know what I'm saying? Like, why wasn't she around? Why didn't she have anything to say about it? Like, what's up with that? So I do understand where the question come from, but it's like they constantly keep talking about it, and I'm like, why are y'all so pressed? Why do you care? That's just simple as that. Why do you even give a fuck that much about why she don't know? Because we all want to know why she don't know, but it's like, girls, like, talk about something else. And they end up talking about Sheree's relationship with Tyrone. And Sheree's like, I'm happier than I've ever been. I got me a prison bae, and it is what it is, and I don't care what nobody got to say about it. And honestly, Sheree, I do feel where you coming from. I mean, I have one with an older guy, and some people have their things to say about it. I've read some shit, but it is what it is. So, long as you're happy in your situation, as unorthodox as it may be, if you're happy in your situation, what another bitch gotta say really don't matter. And that's just what it is. And that's just how I feel. That's how you should feel as well. So you have the best attitude for it. So, Cynthia, Candy, and Kenya, they get together to talk about the tea. Now, first of all, they started off the conversation by asking Kenya, was she okay as far as the funeral was concerned? And, Kenya was like, it was just, it was a funeral. It ain't nothing deep. It was just a funeral. And it's kind of like, at the end of the day, funerals are nothing that's happy. A lot of the times when you go to a funeral and ain't shit happy about it, you just sitting there and it's somber. And she was pretty much saying, everything was fine until it came down to the final goodbyes. And that's just how I feel about all funerals. Most funerals are never, you could be okay at a funeral sometime, but when it comes down to them final goodbyes, when you got to say your piece, and when you put them in the ground, it's just way too much for me. Like, I can't deal with that. That is a lot for me to look at. Like, that's the part I hate the most about funerals. When you put them in the ground, that's when the shit really becomes like, okay, this is final, pretty much. So as they're talking about that, they get into the San Francisco tea and how everybody has so much to say about Kenya not telling Cynthia about the wedding. And Cynthia was like, I had started getting upset because everybody had so much to say about the fact that you didn't tell me about your wedding, and everybody had so many opinions, to the point to where I did get kind of upset because I did feel like I should have known about your wedding, and I didn't understand why I didn't know anything about your wedding. And you had every right to feel that way. Honestly, you did. But Kenya said you would meet him. I have my reasoning for keeping him away from everybody and all of that. And why would you want your man to be around any of these broads, to be quite honest? I mean, they all got something to say about everybody, man. I mean, Todd has been a topic of discussion. Peter been a topic of discussion. Apollo been a topic of discussion. Everybody's man been a topic of discussion. Cordell been a topic. Everybody got something to say about somebody's man. So you don't want him to be around them hoes. I wouldn't want mine to be around them either, to be quite honest. So you already know how they be. Then they start talking about Sheree's relationship. And they're just pretty much throwing just a little bit of light shade at the situation, you know what I'm saying? But, it's like they don't know much about Sheree's situation. All they do know is that Nene said that Tyrone was a con artist. And we can all hope that even though Sheree is happy, all I know is I can only hope that he is not trying to con her ass out of the little money that she got, because you know Sheree ain't got much. So I hope he ain't trying to con her for the little bit that she got. So Cynthia and Peter, they come together about bar one because Cynthia owns 25% of that. And they meet up and they look at this little area that they looked at a couple of years ago for another location. And this whole little dynamic between Cynthia and Peter just lets me further know in my Steve Harvey voice, lets me further know that Cynthia and Peter be fucking. They ain't never stopped fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like this whole little chemistry they had that whole time at that piece of land that they was in, it just really felt like Cynthia and Peter have been tussling in that bed. And to be quite honest, we can say whatever we want to say about Peter, but I do believe that he know how to put it down in the bedroom. That's just my personal opinion. He is way too aggressive to not know how to do it. And Cynthia is way too sweet for her not to like it. So let's just be real about it. And you know, I'm like, Cynthia and Peter been getting it on, and they're trying to act like they ain't. Even with the sexual innuendos towards the end of the scene, like you know when she was like, "How long are you going to be in Atlanta?" Basically trying to offer him some ass so he can raise the percentage of, you know, bitch, like you ain't like you ain't been offering him ass. You been giving it to him. Y'all can't tell me that they been fucking since they've been divorced, and it's pretty, and that's nothing new. I mean, people sometimes when they break up, sometimes if they break up on a good note, you can still fuck around with your ex. I've done it. I don't know how many times with the exes that I like. I fucked around with them several times. It was great. So just it just made me remember what I had when I had them, but I don't want them back. But that's it. What else? Yeah. So Candy and Todd, they give Ace some swimming lessons, and I remember when I was young, when I went to this daycare center called the Discovery Center, the summer camp, and we went to swimming lessons every summer. Child, I still don't know how to swim. So it was nerve wracking to watch that episode, watch this, to look at Ace go under that water. I'm like, oh my god, like just the thought of my head going under some water gets me all antsy. Like I still don't know how to swim. All them swimming lessons that I didn't had, and I still don't know how to swim. Child, boom. So Kaylee is about to go to Howard. And you know, Sheree was like, she was very surprised that she was going to a HBCU because she's always been the only black girl amongst a bunch of white girls. You know, she mainly hangs around the white girls all the time. And you know, but you know, Sheree's happy that she's going to a HBCU, and I'm happy too because you know, it's a lot that you can learn at the HBCU about the black culture and everything else you need to know about black folks. So that's I'm glad that she's going to Howard. But then they turn around and they have a conversation about Sheree's domestic abuse with Bob. Now, let me just say this. How was she able to keep that under wraps? I'm not saying that she couldn't keep it under wraps, but if they all lived in a house with her, how the hell was she able to hide that? Like, you know how? Because watching that, knowing what my mama went through with my stepfather, I wish she hid it from me. Cause I saw it. I saw it all. Like, and y'all know when I do reviews, the reason why I do these reviews and they come off so passionate is simply because of the fact that a lot of the stuff that happens on these shows, if I experience it or experienced it, then it becomes passionate for me. And just this whole talk about domestic violence was just sitting with me because I watched it for most of my life. And just to hear Sheree say how she hid it from them, I wish my mother was able to hide the stuff that she was going through from us because we saw a lot of stuff. Like, I've seen bloodshed, I've seen people's face being buried in the snow. I was thrown in the middle of a street at the age of 8 trying to protect my mother. And, you know, I've seen punches in the mouth, made my mom had to get her teeth fixed at the top because it was a dead tooth due to him punching her in the mouth. Like, I've seen a lot of shit like that. So, just to see her talk to her kids and how they didn't know nothing about it, I will say that they were fortunate enough not to have seen it or not to have known anything about it. Because being someone that grew up in a volatile situation, that does something to you. When I was young, I saw it. Like I can just, it's like even with me talking about it, I'm replaying certain things in the back of my head because I remember it. Like I never forget they had an argument and got so heated and he rammed her head into the refrigerator like boom, and she fell to the ground and there was a pool of blood on the floor and he walked over her and continued to do what he was doing. Like shit like that I remember. Or it was an ice storm and they got into a fight because he wanted to leave us in the middle of nowhere. We lived in the country then. We lived in a house. It was snowing like hell and the lights was off. And he wanted to go all because we lived like 10, 15 minutes outside the city. We lived in the country and he wanted to leave us in that damn cold ass house with no electricity all day in the snowing. We wasn't finna stay in that house. So my mother dropped him off at his grandmother's house and they got into an argument, got into an altercation, and it was on from there. They fought. And he took his hand and tried to bury her head in the snow. And when I tried to defend her, he picked me up and threw me in the middle of the street. I could have busted my head. Anything could have happened to me. And when my mother saw me on the ground, she tried to kill him. Like she tried to run him over. It's like seriously, like that's the type of shit I grew up around. So it fucked with me because as I got older, anytime I heard them arguing and I was home, I'll stand in a room with her and watch just in case he would try something. Now, when I got older, he didn't try it anymore. But when we were growing up, he didn't give a fuck who he put his hands on. That's the type of shit I grew up around. So they are fortunate enough not to know. But with them not knowing and after all these years knowing what happened, I know that it probably sucks for them to hear that. Now, Cynthia Will, Candy and Todd, they on a double date on a damn boat, and Candy starts grilling this nigga about being on a reality TV show and doing all this other shit. And I'm just sitting up here like, Candy girl. First of all, you talking about the fact that your whole circle went in on Ty. Didn't nobody go in on Ty like Mama Joyce did. So that's the only bitch in your circle that really went in on him, bitch. So don't even try to pull this whole circle thing with me because that ain't even what it was. Your mama, your mammy did it. It wasn't your circle, your mammy did it. So don't try to put it on the whole circle. And Natalie was not a part of your damn circle, so it really don't matter. Your mother did that. The streets was talking to your mama. Now you want to talk. Now you want to talk to the streets about Cynthia Man. Do you want to penalize him for being on reality TV? Your man was a producer on a reality TV show. What's the fucking difference? Like that's why they was saying he was a fucking opportunist. Like go Candy bye. Worry about your own shit. You worried about the wrong damn thing. Just ask him if he got mental illness in his family. Just ask him the regular questions. Don't ask him no dumb shit like that. Oh, he was on a reality show. Ty worked on one, and the fuck? Okay, but anyway. I'm getting tired of your shit. You don't never buy me nothing. Sheree got a call from Tyrone in prison. She ready for him to come on, help her get her shit. They had a great conversation. Sheree is in love with this man, and I'm not even gonna fault her for it. I can't fault her for being in love with the man. You see these bags, y'all? This is the sign of a tired ass man. I cannot wait to go to sleep. Working, working, working. But anyway, she in love with this man, and nobody needs to judge her about that. Yeah, he in prison, but yeah, it's unorthodox. But at the end of the day, if she in love with this nigga, she in love with him. It ain't really nothing nobody can say because everybody's man that's been on this stage, ain't perfect. Hers definitely not perfect. He's into fraud and all this other shit. So is Phaedra's husband. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't perfect. So ain't nobody on that stage with a perfect man or had a perfect man, to be quite honest. So why y'all so worried about Sheree? What the fuck she got going on? But that's my review on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Be on the lookout for Love and Hip Hop and my Zero Force Giving blog. I'm off tomorrow, so I can sit down and I can edit it, so I can give it to y'all Tuesday. And I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.